Speaker, good to see you again, Minister. Minister, the Senate's Fisheries and Oceans Committee released a report, Peace on Water, in 2022, which addressed systemic racism within the DFO. Despite the department's assurances that it recognizes the urgency of eliminating systemic racism, in April, 2 Mi'kmaq fishermen were forced to walk along the highway at night without their phones and shoes after fishery officers seized their belongings. Minister, the current action plan is clearly ineffective, and we have consistently heard of instances of racism in testimony before our committee. How will your department put an end to discriminatory practices within the DFO? Does the department have any plan?
Madame la Ministre.
Minister, well, I can tell you that I was in Nova Scotia last week and I met with the Niskatsini community. I also met with one of the young men who was left on the highway without shoes in the middle of the night. As I mentioned, for these things to happen is unacceptable. The Deputy Minister was with me during that meeting with people from that community, and a committee will be set up. We are currently looking at who could sit on this committee. And we will also want to ensure that the committee's mandate is discussed with Indigenous communities to ensure that such situations never reoccur. But as I said, what happened was completely unacceptable.
There are processes and protocols in place, and yet these 2 fishermen went through unnecessarily traumatic ordeal, which in turn affects the entire community. How was this investigated, or is being investigated, and how were the fishery officers disciplined, and what action was taken by your department?
Okay. Madame la Ministre.
Okay. Minister, I can tell you that internal investigations are currently underway. That is an administrative process. We're awaiting the results of that investigation. But another committee, which won't be, and that's important for me, which won't be under the supervision of Fisheries and Oceans. So this would be an independent committee that's being set up for a parallel investigation, and we're looking at who could be responsible for that committee. People from the Indigenous community, and other names were submitted to us as well. Perhaps some former senators could be on this committee. As I said, we're going to ensure that that situation never reoccurs. So, thank you.